And I'm Mackenzie Henderson. People are coming forward in support of a former priest from Port Aransas who was accused of theft.
Yeah, Father Kris Bauta was removed from St. Joseph's Parish in October after a financial audit showed what were said to be irregularities. The Texas Rangers arrested him yesterday after a 7-month investigation.
Our Madeline Dart sat down with members of the church who have now formed an advocacy group. Maddie, they believe he is innocent.
Yes, Joe, Mackenzie, they do. The members say Father Kris truly changed their lives and did a lot for the people of Port Aransas. And since he helped them when they needed it most, they want to help Father Kris when they say he needs it most. The group on Facebook calling themselves Keep Father Kris. 2 members recall the shock and disbelief from when he was removed.
Shock.
We were all just in tears. And they let him come back for one church to say goodbye to us. And everybody was crying.
Donata Morris and Mike Faudry with the group say there's no way Father Kris could have committed a second-degree felony.
He's gentle, he's kind, caring, and his knowledge of theology is just awe-inspiring.
It's not true. What anybody says, it is not true.
In a recent release from the Corpus Christi Diocese, officials say they recognize Father Kris was recently charged with the felony and are praying for him and his family.
I guess the question I have is why it took him 7 months to sift through things.
Donata was on the financial review committee for St. Joseph's Parish. She says they did everything by the books.
We were there, we counted money, we helped in the office. I mean, we're not a big church, so we don't bring in thousands and thousands of dollars, but everybody's just so giving there and just loved Father Kris.
Now Morris and Faudry, along with other members, are backing Father Kris up, writing letters to the Vatican and national Catholic organizations in hopes of charges being dropped.
People of Port Aransas need Father Kris.
Justice needs to be done, and without our support, it won't get done.
And I did reach out to Father Kris. He has not replied. And if you'd like to reach out to the group, you can go to Facebook and search Keep Father Kris. Joe, Mackenzie.
Okay, thank you. Well,